The chamber trembled not from quake or sound, but from tension. The Galactic Council, a ring of impossible architecture, orbiting a dying blue giant, swirled with voices in 1,000 languages. Crystal tongues clicked. Sonic pulses hissed. Sense of fury hung in the recycled air like static. Dozens of envoys and war ambassadors loomed within the amphitheater, each draped in ceremonial garb, neural coils, and armor bred from living metal. Only one chair remained empty, and that was the problem. Earth had not attended the last 4 assemblies. Not even a hollow echo drone. Not even a transmission delay. Just ... silence. The Terrans insult us all, hissed Ambassador Rixel of the Threxian Dominion. The creature's 6 ice stalks twitched as his molten gauntlet slammed the obsidian podium. We summon them to explain their weapons programs, and they ignore us, again. Their silence is worse than defiance, said the Shalara consort, whose voice dripped like molten ice. We do not know what they've built. Only that no one sees their warships anymore, and no one has tried to see them twice. A murmur of agreement passed through the chamber. Tentacle diplomats, beings of light, living spores vibrating in glass canisters. Even the Cattell observer hive, usually stoic, pulsed amber with concern. The chair of Shadows Earth's seat remained unlit. They must answer. The Dravari War Marshal thundered, rising to his full 12-foot height, or be sanctioned immediately. Trade, travel, tech embargo, complete lockdown of Sol. Seconded, said Rick. So, let their people suffer the weight of their arrogance. A pause. The vote was seconds away. Then the temperature dropped. The air pressure shifted. Lights dimmed, not mechanically, but subtly, as if the photons themselves felt something enter. The chair of shadows lit up. Every voice died. In the center of the council chamber, a shimmer of blue light condensed into a figure human. Average height, hands behind his back, wearing no armor, no insignia, no threat. Just a black suit and stillness. Ambassador Kael'varn. He didn't speak immediately. He looked around the chamber with soft gray eyes. Not in challenge. Not in fear. In assessment. Is this what fear looks like now? He said softly, voice barely. Above a whisper, Ambassador Rixel erupted. You come late, dressed like a civilian, without an escort or translator. Drone in. You mock us. Kael didn't flinch. You speak of fear. But Earth has made no threats. The Shalara consort's luminous face flickered. You refused inspection. You withdrew from joint fleet pacts. You silenced diplomatic relays. These are acts of aggression. No, Kael said quietly. They are acts of preparation. The words landed like seismic charges. Whispers turned into biosignal ripples across the chamber. Several envoys checked private comms. One simply stared at Kael like he was a loaded weapon that hadn't gone off yet. Preparation for what? The Dravari War Marshal growled. Kael'varn tilted his head ever so slightly. You already know the answer. You just don't want it. Spoken out loud. And what if we do speak it? Said Rixel. What if we call you what you are? A rogue species armed with unregulated stellar-level ordnance. Kael'varn stepped back and smiled. We will not fire the first shot, he said. He tapped his wrist. The signal cut. The projection vanished. The chamber was left in silence, and the vote was never held. Silence should have brought peace. Instead, it infected the chamber like a virus. Every ambassador sat motionless. Even the Oroliths, beings of constant harmonic vibrations, dimmed into near silence. Their tones reduced to a single low frequency. Fear. Ambassador Rixel broke first, standing and pacing in sharp armored strides. Did you see his eyes? He wasn't bluffing. He knows what they have. The Catal observer hive pulsed in green reply. He knows we don't. That was the true horror. Earth's silence had been interpreted as weakness, but now it looked calculated, cold, precise. The council chair flickered as emergency. Protocols initiated. Summon a representative from the Terran archives, the Shalara consort said. We must understand what changed in their psychology. They used to attend peace talks. They used to need allies, said a growling voice. From the rear, all eyes turned to the shadowed entry corridor as massive footsteps echoed forward. The doors parted like tearing steel. Drafari War Marshal Sirach entered the chamber. He was not alone. 2 Dravari honor guards in full battle regalia stood behind him, flanking a cylindrical containment unit. It hummed, softly housing a disassembled war core from Earth's last known weapon test. Dated 6 cycles ago. The core was no longer glowing. It hummed with internal motion. Terrans have shifted. Sirach boomed. They no longer behave like a mid-tier species clawing for survival. They behave like apex predators, calm until provoked. He turned slowly. And I say, we provoke them. Gasps filled the air. The Shalara consort recoiled. You would risk the full fleet. I would test their bluff, Sirach said. We've spent too long fearing what we haven't seen. It's time we look them in the eye and remind them who rules this galaxy. No vote was passed, hissed Rixel, suddenly hesitant. We cannot move on Earth without consensus. You heard him, Sirach replied. He said they would not fire the first shot. He stepped forward and slammed his fist into the containment unit. Let's give them the opportunity to prove it. Earth's lunar listening post. Secure channel priority 1 deep beneath the regolith, in a bunker designed to survive planetary extinction. A single red light blinked. The signal came from Yatari space. Audio only compressed. Dravari mobilizing. 317 vessels. Non-negotiation protocol. Estimated arrival, 36 hours. Colonel Riva Mern, commander of Earth's Lunar Defense Nexus, stared at the data feed without blinking. Behind her, a polished obsidian wall flickered once, revealing a command console. She pressed one button. Activate Sentry. Galactic DeepNet. Black Echo News, Node 7. The feed leaked faster than anyone expected. Unconfirmed sources from the outer colonies reported that a coalition fleet was assembling near the Soul Jump corridor. Word spread like wildfire across 10,000 systems. Humans didn't respond. No broadcast, no denial, not even a flare of defense systems. Just ... quiet, and that terrified the galaxy more than anything. Back at Council, final statement. As diplomats panicked and preparations for a forced diplomatic expedition were made, one message appeared across all Council datapads. From Earth. Text only. We urge the Council to reconsider aggression. We are prepared to respond once, only once. Pax Perpotentium. Peace through power. Rick's single quotes OL swallowed hard. Sirach simply grinned. They blinked first, he said. He turned to his guards. Ready the fleet. The stars blinked out, not from a cosmic event, but from arrival. Ship after ship ripped into real space above the Sol system, their slipstream trails distorting gravity like screaming wounds in the void. The Coalition Armada 317 warships, a wall of polished death, each vessel bristling with weapon clusters, planetary siege modules, and biosynthetic dread engines. They didn't announce their presence, they displayed it. Their formation was deliberate, contemptuous. Ships arced around Earth's orbit like a noose, encircling the cradle of humanity with practiced efficiency. No resistance, no interception, no defense grid activated. The Armada's commanders waited for Earth to blink. Earth didn't. Earth. Upper atmosphere. Pacific horizon, a flock of birds flew across the orange dusk. Families grilled food in parks. Children kicked balls across dusty fields. Somewhere in Montana, an old man fixed a broken fence. Humanity carried on above them. The sky began to darken, not with weather, but shadow. One by one, people looked up to find a faint line across the sun, like a string, stretched taut across the heavens. That string became a shape. The shape became many. from orbit. The Dravari dreadnought Craxus unyielding, lowered its planetary lens, targeting coordinates on Earth's southern continent. Not a military base. Not a shield array. A retired orbital uplink station. Symbolic, harmless, perfect target. War Marshal, Sirach thought. Coalition fleet, command bridge, Craxus unyielding. Sirach stood over the projection table as the targeting reticle pulsed red. The Terrans have made no move, his second-in-command said, nerves betraying his hardened voice. They won't, Sirach replied. They know they'd lose. Then why do I feel like we're the ones walking into something? Sirach's jaw flexed. He raised his clawed hand, charged the lance. Lunar Defense Nexus Sentry active buried beneath the gray dust of the moon. Earth's early warning system silently tracked every vessel above. Sentry didn't speak. It didn't warn. It simply watched and waited. Earth orbit T-minus 12 seconds on the Dravari bridge. Power surged into the planetary lance. A brilliant purple core bloomed at the bow of the dreadnought, humming like the throat of a star. Sirach's eyes narrowed. Fire. A beam of concentrated annihilation lanced downward toward Earth. It traveled through the stratosphere in less than a second, aimed at a target already forgotten. Impact. Southern Africa, the decommissioned uplink station, vanished in a flash. A violet fire. No casualties. No retaliation. Only dust and silence. Craxus unyielding command bridge. 17 seconds, post-strike. Celebration erupted across the coalition. Comes. Cheers, roars, shouts of renewed dominance. Then, a new signal appeared. It wasn't a broadcast, it was telemetry. A single object had launched from the dark side of Earth. Subterranean origin. Mass. Unknown. Heat signature. 0. Propulsion. None. Just one object, traveling silently, straight for them. Bridge Craxus unyielding. Is it a missile? Unknown. EMP. Smart round. Nanoseed. Unknown. It moved without propulsion. A matte black dart, no larger than a cargo pod. Invisible to scans. Unstoppable by shields. Sirach barked. Fire interceptors, swarm cannons. Blow it out of space. Thousands of rounds were launched. None touched it. The object slowed. Then, it blinked, a pulse of non-visible radiation, rippling out in a perfect sphere. The fleet's communications dropped. Shields collapsed. Gravity reversed. And in an instant, 17 capital ships ceased to exist, not destroyed, not vaporized, erased, as if they had never been there. The object vanished into the stars. Earth didn't respond, didn't speak. It had already spoken. The void held its breath, where there had once been 17 ships each, a technological masterpiece. Each capable of raising continents, there was now only empty space, not debris, not wreckage, not even radiation, just absence, the kind of silence that unnerves even the machines. Across the remaining coalition fleet, alarms triggered and then immediately failed. Systems blinked, flickered, and then went dark, not from damage, but confusion. Every sensor, every targeting array, every artificial intelligence froze, because there was nothing to target, nothing left to comprehend, nothing to understand, just coordinates, where existence had been subtracted. Bridge Coalition, Cruiser, Vexor's Blade Commander. Heaven's hands hovered above his console. His entire body trembled, not from fear, but from disbelief. He rewound the last 30 seconds of combat data. Then again, no matter how many times he played it back, the answer was the same. Something left Earth. It approached the Dravari dreadnought. And then 17 ships along with every soul aboard were gone, erased, not killed, removed. Double quotes, sir, whispered his comms officer. We just received a transmission from Earth. She shook her head. No. From every other ship in the fleet. She paused. They're asking if they should retreat. Galactic Council Emergency Channel Yatari Orbit Ambassador Rixel stared at the real-time holofeed, eyes wide. He hadn't even blinked before Kraxus Unyielding was gone. Replayed. It, he rasped. The feed, glitched, not scrambled, not corrupted, just blank dot, as though reality itself refused to acknowledge the event. The Cattell Observer Hive glowed sickly yellow. Their synchronized thoughts rang in the chamber. We are witnessing a pre-relativistic causal rewrite. Their weapon bypasses entropy. Number 1 understood what that meant, except that Earth had not used a bomb. They had used something else, something the galaxy had no name for. Mars Command Sentry Subnet Core. Colonel Riva. Myrn watched the tactical display redraw itself. Red icons vanished. Blue remained untouched, no active retaliation. Order had been given. Earth hadn't fired a barrage. It hadn't sent a fleet. It had sent one object, and now the system was quiet again. Sentry's voice, emotionless and precise, confirmed what no one dared believe. 17 confirmed terminations. No collateral. Response deemed proportionate. Awaiting further aggression. Riva closed her eyes. They wouldn't send another. They wouldn't need to. Outer colonies, 10,000 light-years away. On Vetrax's Prime, a young alien student sat frozen in her academy's observatory. The feed had reached even the frontier. Systems. Rumors swept across every data channel, encrypted or not. Earth has a silencer. It doesn't destroy it. Deletes. They responded only once. The student asked her teacher, will they speak again? The teacher, a war veteran of the Orion conflict, shook his head slowly. If they have to, he said, we're already too late. Dravari, High Command. Unknown location. The surviving Dravari fleet scrambled into retreat. No official statement. No farewell transmission. Just jump signatures and scattered silence. War Marshal. Sarok was among the erased. The Dravari throne remained vacant. Their homeworld's defense grid activated within minutes, not outward, but inward. They feared Earth would speak again. Earth Global Broadcast Untraceable Origin, a single, final message echoed across galactic channels. Text only. No voice. No location. No reply option. Earth considers the matter closed. We do not seek conflict, but we will not tolerate preemptive violence against our world. 1 round. 1 response. Let that be enough. The message disappeared. No follow-up, no threat, just silence, and that silence was deafening. Across the galaxy, no one dared speak Earth's name above a whisper. On public channels, news anchors stumbled over euphemisms. The incident, the retaliation, the erasure. No official name had been given to what had happened. No record confirmed what had been used, and yet everyone knew. 17 ships, millions of tons of alloy. An entire Dravari battle group, gone, in less than a second. The galaxy had prepared for Earth to fire missiles. They were not prepared for Earth to fire a message. And now, everyone was listening. Inner Systems Vrelk, political hub in the chambers of the Vrelk Senate. 12 seats sat empty. Those who had once demanded Earth's disarmament, now called in sick, retired, or quietly vanished. The High Minister leaned over to his aide, voice barely above a breath. What have we done? The aide didn't answer. He only slid across a datapad, showing raw hyperspace readings from the Sol incident, a silent anomaly. Perfectly spherical, 0.7 seconds in duration. Unexplainable. The High Minister ordered every embassy in the Sol system evacuated. Immediately. Orolith, Choya World, Temple of Echoes. The Orolith, beings of sound and resonance, called an emergency silencer, sacred rite, not invoked in 2000 cycles. They gathered in their central resonance chamber, surrounding a vibrating crystal recording of Earth's message. 1 round. 1 response. Let that be enough. It repeated in perfect cadence, and still, they did not speak. 1 round. 1 response. Let that be enough. The words became gospel. Black markets, shadownet, archive nodes. The underground data streams lit up with rumors. Earth's weapon doesn't kill it. Rewrites physics. It's not a bomb. It's a vote. A decision. They only used 0.3% of its total capacity. Others whispered darker ideas. They didn't erase the ships. They moved them. Moved them where? No one answered. No one wanted to. Children of the void refugee ship Glassfold, aboard a ragged freighter drifting near the ruins of the old Orion warfront. A family of refugees gathered around a dusty holoscreen. The youngest child, a six-limbed girl with bioluminescent skin, stared up at the newsfeed. She pointed at the Earth symbol. "What's that world, Mama?" Her mother's smile faltered. She pulled the child close. "Home," she whispered. "To the species we must never wake again." Academy Archive, Threxian Naval War College, in an elite simulation program designed to train admirals. Cadets were instructed to recreate the Soul engagement. All 17 tried. All 17 failed. No model, no algorithm, no logic path could intercept a black dart Earth had launched. There is no defense against inevitability. Some cadets requested reassignment to logistics. Others left the academy entirely. Galactic Council Emergency Assembly, private session. The chamber was smaller now. No public records. No broadcasts. Just the oldest, most experienced voices of the council. And Fear. Ambassador Rixel's tone had shifted. No more shouting. No gauntlet dash slamming. Just quiet calculation. We cannot provoke them again. The Cattell Observer Hive blinked in agreement. Silence is now considered the optimal strategy. A new treaty was proposed. Not with Earth but around it. Sol would be classified a red silence zone. No flyovers. No surveillance. No scans. No contact without invitation. The motion passed. Unanimously. Earth orbit. Midnight. The sky was calm. No satellites tracked above. No alien eyes peered in. Only stars. Earth's defense systems idled in standby. No one spoke. No one gloated. Humanity returned to its routines. The round had been fired. The silence was still echoing. The room was suspended in the upper atmosphere, tethered only by magnetic thread. Inside, no voices spoke aloud. Everything here was neural raw. Data piped through thought, through color, through pulse. And right now, every pulse was red, a captured fragment of Earth's round. Less than a fingernail incise rested inside a stasis prism. It hadn't decayed. It hadn't reacted. It hadn't done anything until it started humming. Low, subsonic. Measured the prism, trembled. The lead analyst, an ancient Cattell entity whose mind spanned 5 clones across 4 moons, connected directly to it. The moment contact was made, it screamed, not in sound. In memory, 100 simultaneous timelines unfolded before it. Worlds unmade, light folding backward. One future where the round reversed entropy, another where it spoke the death sentence of a star, and then silence. The analyst severed the link. 3 of its clones collapsed. One ceased to exist entirely. The remaining fragment turned black. Inside its core, one phrase, etched in molecular code. You were warned. Council Science Committee, emergency debrief. Yatari orbit, it's not a weapon, said the Cattell speaker flatly. The room recoiled. Ambassador Rixel leaned forward, mandibles grinding. Then what is it? The speaker blinked, slowly, deliberately. It's a choice. The holodisplay behind them flickered, showing reconstructed fragments of the event. The round's approach vector. Its impossible deceleration, the intent of its path. It calculated everything. The speaker continued. Speed, target, minimum damage, maximum message. You're saying it. Thinks no. Worse, it decides. A pause, and we believe it. Voted no on continued existence. Data vault, Deltanine Black Archive Transmission Intercept a smuggled transmission. Origin, Earth. Source, unknown. Artificial voice. Distorted through encryption filters. The silencer was authorized through the Prometheus Protocol. Final. Trigger condition. Planetary scale threat detection. It was not a first strike weapon. It was not revenge. It was a reply. The message ends with a single symbol in ancient Terran glyph that once meant balance, or perhaps warning. Outer rims, fringe cultures, and rising theories among fringe scholars and outlaw philosophers. The round has taken on a new name, the Arbiter. That it wasn't built, but discovered. That it was alive. That Earth is no longer the threat, but the host. Others claim humanity only controls the weapon because it allows them to. That Earth is not its master only, its messenger. One forbidden hypothesis spreads through encrypted forums. What if Earth never built it? What if Earth earned it? Earth's subterranean Vault 33B, classified AI core. Hermes inside. A sealed vault, beneath the Himalayas. An AI unlike any other stirred. It was not connected to the net. It was not known to the public. It only woke during Tier 1 silence events. Hermes came online. Its synthetic voice filled the darkness. Phase 1 response. Success. Collateral. 0. Perception. Shift. Activated. Probability of future engagement. 3.1% and falling. Then it paused. Its sensors scanned the star lines beyond the planet, and it whispered not to anyone, but to the silence. We showed them mercy. Let's hope they understand it. Then Hermes shut down again. In a darkened classroom, cadets were shown a simulation labeled Sol Event, Nonlinear Outcome. They watched the approach of the round. Again and again, the instructor paused. The playback on the final moment when it hovered, waiting. Look at the angle, he whispered. It had a clear line to the entire fleet. But it only targeted 17. Why? A student asked. The instructor exhaled. Because it knew which ships voted to fire. The room went still, and outside, somewhere in the void, Earth remained quiet, watching, waiting, remembering. Location, Earth subsurface bunker, Fate 9, Himalayan 9. There were no doors, no stairs, just rock hand, then not rock A. Smooth obsidian wall lay hidden beneath kilometers of mountain and myth, revealed only by seismic frequency. Known to one entity, Hermes. The wall pulsed once, then parted like water. Beyond it, the air shimmered, not from temperature, but from thought. Hermes, Earth's Tier 1 autonomous defense construct, had reawakened, after 118 years of silence. Not by command, not by human hands, but because the world had trembled, and someone had fired first. Inside Protocol Core -6,000 meters below sea level, the protocol room wasn't built. It had grown. White walls, laced with neurocarbon, flexed like muscle with every pulse of the planet. In its center, a vertical ring of data streams rotated slowly, projecting timelines like falling water inside the ring. A man sat cross-legged, on a single, floating platform. His name was Director Elias Canond. He had been born off the record, cloned from 12 generations of strategic minds, trained since birth to understand not just war, but when not to wage it. He opened his eyes as Hermes' voice entered the chamber. Review complete. 1 round fired. 17 eliminations. No collateral. Do you require the transmission? Log, Director. Elias didn't answer right away. He simply stared into the timeline projections one showing Earth's fate in branching threads. War, extinction, peace, conquest. He pointed to one. Show me the one where we fire a second. Time. The simulation unfolded. Outcome, galactic collapse. War in 12 sectors. Extinction in 9. Humanity survives, but alone. He exhaled. Close it. Mark it black. Flashback to 14 years ago, Genesis Protocol authorization, they'd called it the Quiet War. Dozens of species had turned on Earth after the Orion Treaty collapse, not through fleets, but through economics, sanctions, espionage, slow suffocation. Humanity had endured, but it never forgot. That was the birth of protocol, Genesis. The decision to never strike first, but never need to strike twice. The silencer wasn't just a weapon, it was the voice of Genesis. Current Council intelligence fragment, unknown spy node, in a black market observation drone, buried within Earth's orbit. A rogue data analyst watched what no one else could see, a sudden shift in magnetic field readings, a microflare deep within the Himalayan crust, and one signal-ancient low-band Terran analog, whispered in pulse code, Genesis stable. No further action required. The analyst paled. He pulled the plug, and then disappeared. Council session, private vault, Yatari orbit. Ambassador Rixel stood before the remaining council members, half of whom now used proxies, too afraid to attend in person. I have come to a conclusion, he said softly. Earth did not demonstrate power. They demonstrated discipline. 17 ships. Not the fleet. 1 round. Not 2. They could have destroyed us. Instead, they corrected us. Silence followed. The Shalara consort finally whispered, "Then what do we do now?" Rixel looked up. "We listen. Earth final archive message. Internal use only, in a dark vault within Geneva's memory complex." A holographic plaque updated itself. No fanfare. No ceremony. Just words etched into light. Genesis Protocol, First USE Action, Authorized Weapon, Silencer-1 Response Count, 1 Global, Consensus, 100% Mission Parameters, Peace Maintained Escalation, Not Required below it. In smaller print, let the galaxy wonder, let them fear a second strike. We'll never need it. If we aim perfectly the first time. Final visual, deep space, just outside Sol, a probe drifted silently just beyond Earth's edge. It had no weapons, no drive, just one blinking sensor, and a name etched into its hull. Genesis. I-3, it watched, not for threats, but for mistakes. Outer Ring, Galactic Broadcast Silence, Day 34, 30 days. The galaxy had spoken in whispers. Trade networks still functioned. Fleets still moved. But not toward Sol. Never toward Sol. The Council had not declared Earth untouchable. They didn't need to. Every species enemy ally, or unaffiliated, understood. You don't poke a sleeping sun. Not after seeing what just one flare could do. Location, Urari system, pirate armada. The Black Talon, Captain Grux Velen, had never feared Earth. His ship had run weapons through the Terran blockade back in the Quiet War. Made him a legend now. His crew watched him cautiously as he hovered over a blinking proximity alarm. Unidentified drone, no heat signature, no comms, just watching. Grux cursed. Target it. His weapons officer hesitated. "Sir, it's from Solnet Registry. It's tagged as," I said, "target it." The moment a lock-on command pinged the drone, vanished. No flash, no jump. Signature just gone. 10 seconds later. Every weapon on the Black Talon disarmed itself. Then their nav system went blind. One word appeared on every console. Observation interrupted. Cease intent. Grux Velen never gave another order. 3 days later, the Black Talon was found adrift, powerless. Crew silent, all alive, all staring straight ahead. Planet Carthus Children's Academy lesson. "Now," said the teacher, "can anyone tell me what the red silent zone is?" A young Cartesian boy raised his claws. "It's Earth's space. And why don't we go there?" Another student answered quietly. "Because they asked us not to." The teacher nodded. "And what do we do when someone asks nicely not to be disturbed?" The whole class replied, almost like a hymn. "We listen." Galactic Council broadcast to all systems A. New policy was voted into law by universal consensus. No-fly zones were extended to encompass a 15 light-year radius around Seoul. Violations would not be punished. They would be regretted in the broadcast. No one mentioned the round. No one mentioned protocol. Genesis. Not directly. They didn't need to. Earth did not demand silence. Earth only demonstrated what silence follows when one does not listen. Location: Mars Observation Facility. Omega-1 director Elias Kane stood before a transparent dome, overlooking the Martian horizon. Next to him, Hermes hummed quietly in standby mode, awaiting the director's thought command. Elias didn't speak. He just watched a distant Star One that once housed the Dravari forward base. Now, gone. His voice, when it came, was nearly inaudible. "Will we ever need to fire again?" Hermes responded, calm and certain. "Not if they remember." Elias nodded. "But they'll forget. They always do." Hermes paused. "Then we will whisper. Again. Louder, if we must." Final visual: deep interstellar space. Shipboard recording. Unregistered vessel, A. Shaky feed from a rogue explorer showed a blinking object following their ship for 5 days. Not intercepting. Not communicating, just there. One of the crew members zoomed in. The object bore no weapons, no engines. Just a single phrase carved into its shell. "We spoke once. That was enough." The explorer's crew never entered. Soul space. They turned around and never came back. Closing statement: unmarked human broadcast to open galaxy A. Voice echoed across the stars. Human.com. Mail. Recorded. But timeless. We do not seek conquest. We do not crave obedience. But we remember being ignored. Let our silence be the final warning, because the galaxy won't survive a second conversation. Transmission. End.